Amazon Prime's hit superhero series, The Boys, got us all messed up with its compelling storyline and action-packed sequences along with the graphic violence. We've already seen our share of dead bodies to be counted, be they civilians or supes. For today's episode, let's talk about every member of the Seven who lives and dies by the end of the series. So if you don't want to miss out on this topic, then you better keep on watching. Here's a comprehensive list of the boys and every member of the Seven who lives and dies by the series' end. And the obligatory spoiler warning before we jump into this info. Although the Seven is the deadliest team in the Boys universe and boasts their strongest supe, Homelander, few of them survive until the end of the series. Only 2 of the 7 survived until the end of the story when the Boys published its final issue, and it might not be what readers would think. The 7 were not founded exactly as they are known to fans of the streaming series of the same name in the Boys comic book series. Since he wasn't a founding member of the 7, Translucent never made an appearance in the comic book series. Instead, a parody of DC's Martian Manhunter, called Jack from Jupiter, was included on the team. Stormfront, who was listed on the paycheck roster, never joined the squad. But throughout the Boys, almost every member of the 7, including its most potent heroes, who earlier in the comic book seemed impervious to death, ends up dead. Let's start today's list with Homelander, who got killed by Black Noir in The Boys number 65. The major shock in the final chapter of the Boys comic book series by Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson is the Black Noir is actually a Homelander clone created to kill him if he ever loses control. Black Noir was let out after Homelander killed the American president inside the White House in The Boys number 65, which took place at the time. After killing Homelander, Black Noir turned on the Americans and died in a Pyrrhic victory. Armed forces, with Billy Butcher striking the decisive blow. Then there's Queen Maeve, who got killed by Homelander in The Boys number 63. In The Boys number 63, when Queen Maeve attacks Homelander to buy Starlight some time to flee, one of the more terrible and noble death occurrences, Homelander kills his longtime teammate after shattering her blade over the head of the 7's supreme leader. Next, there's Mr. Marathon, who got killed in The Boys number 21. Mr. Marathon, the 7's first speedster before A-Train, perished horribly on 9/11 when he jumped on Homelander's back in the air in a last-ditch effort to stop the damage from a colliding airline. Moving on, we have Jack from Jupiter, who is killed in The Boys number 59. One of the only members of the 7 from the comics who has never played a significant part in the live-action The Boys series is Jack from Jupiter. In the comics, after killing Billy Butcher's dog Terror, Jack from Jupiter is fatally stabbed by the Boys leader, but in this instance, Jack got what he deserved. Then we have the group speedster A-Train, who got killed in The Boys number 63. Mr. Marathon is replaced by A-Train as the team speedster in the series, although due to his activities, he is dead by the end of the first run. After joking about murdering his lover Robin, Huey savagely murders A-Train as retaliation after being plumped with Compound V. Next, there's Lamplighter, who got killed in The Boys number 66 and who also got resurrected. Lamplighter, an original 7 member, was expelled from the group after the Soup assassinated Greg Mallory's grandkids to avoid a confrontation with the CIA. Lamplighter would be killed by a headshot from Mallory, but the Compound V would allow Vought America to raise him from the dead like a zombie. It is revealed that he has been detained by the CIA in The Boys number 66. Lamplighter was so killed and then resurrected as a mindless, monstrous creature. Then we have Starlight, the newest member of the 7. Unlike the rest of the group, Starlight managed to live through the end of the series. While Annie January survives to the end of the story without being slain, Starlight is nearly killed by Homelander. By the end of the series, she was married to Huey and is no longer living the superhero life. The Boys comic book features a rare, joyful ending for Starlight. And finally, we have The Deep, who, like Starlight, managed to survive throughout the entire series. The Deep is the only original character from the 7 who was first presented in The Boys to survive until the end of the story. The Deep is one of the most valiant members of the Homelander-led super team, unlike his television counterpart, and he largely survives by staying out of most important battles throughout the scenes. In The Boys, he joins a new squad named Truth to wrap up his story. Moving on to another topic, let's talk about the real origin of Mother's Milk. How does it expose him as the Boys' secret soup? Keep watching to find out more. The Boys' adaptation of Mother's Milk comic book origins is very different from the live-action version because the protagonist was genuinely born with superhuman abilities. Mother's Milk and his brother were born with Compound V in their blood, which makes his mission to take them down, the evilest soups in the universe, even more tragic because he knows what it's like to have powers he never asked for. In the comic book series, the boys Mother's Milk and his brother were born with Compound V in their blood. Mother's Milk, the team's muscle and one of their most logical thinkers in the boys' comic book series, acts as the glue that ties the soup hunting team together. Mother's Milk was the only one of the members of the boys who was born with powers since his mother contracted the chemical gene while working in hazardous conditions at Vought America, which she then passed on to her children. The rest of the team gains power by ingesting Compound V. Despite being as strong as most supers, Mother's Milk Compound V origin brought nothing but misery to his existence. The Boys, number 24 by Garth Ennis, Derek Robertson, Simon Boland, and Tony Avina, reveals that Mother's Milk animosity towards Homelander derives from watching how it devastated his family. His mother was employed by Vought, commercial American's product business at a factory. However, both of her children were born with Compound V in their blood because she neglected to clean the building before it was shut down. His crippled brother was ultimately killed by the forces who literally changed his body into a horrific death, soon after his father died following a legal battle against Vought America. As a result, Mother's Milk transformed into a covert superhero with his own special abilities, which he kept a secret from Huey until he acquired his trust. But according to Mother's Milk's background, he joined the military instead of donning a costume and exploiting his superhuman abilities as a real superhero. Billy Butcher became interested in him after his superhuman strength led to the unintentional death of an opponent during a boxing fight. Mother's Milk ultimately decided to join the boys to put an end to the Soups, an organization that had devastated his family's existence. He might have become a Soup if he hadn't had a past with Vought American. He decided to take a different path instead, as Mother's Milk is primarily motivated to eliminate threats to defenseless bystanders. He may be considered the only true superhero of the entire franchise. The live-action The Boys series hasn't dealt with Mother's Milk's covert past as a Soup. Even so, it would be a major surprise for the persona whose goal is to kill Soldier Boy and Halt, the Seven and Vought American, making him secretly possess superpowers but not desire to be a superhero like in the books would make for an interesting twist. If the Boys television series wishes to add a surprise to Mother's Milk origin and status though. In other news, it's important to note that the Boys version of X-Men significantly outperformed the Seven in terms of fandom and financial success. Super teams like the Seven are prevalent in the Boys. The G-Men, the X-Men for the Boys, are the only team that someone competes with the Seven in terms of generating significant revenue for Vought America. Despite making a lot of money, the G-Men are run by a complete monster because their Professor X is one of the worst in a universe full of nefarious characters. Sadly, John Godolkin serves as the leader of the main G-Men team, which is made up of several X-Men clones in the Boys, including Groundhawk, Wolverine, Nubia, Storm, and Critter the Beast. The Professor X's stand-in brainwashed, abused, and assaulted his students. Despite his activities, the G-Men significantly outperformed the Seven in terms of profitability, coming in second to Homelander's team in terms of generating about $1 billion for Vought America. The G-Men led a miserable existence under Godolkin's severe rule since he forbids them from having independence and freedom away from him. Since they have been so shaped by his obscene methods, it is improbable that the G-Men could function as a super team without him. The X-Men parody team is still one of the most successful organizations in the Boys universe despite Homelander's insane and abusive tactics, as their power in numbers dwarfs the Sevens and makes Homelander's team appear relatively small in contrast. And that wraps up today's video about the Boys. Which member of the Seven is your favorite? Or if given the chance, who do you think should have lived until the end? Let us know in the comments section below. Before you go, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe on our channel with the notification bell on for more videos like these. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.